Hello and good evening to my fellow duelists and fellow renegades on YouTube and elsewhere throughout the World Wide Web and the real world. I am Giratina's Rising Renegades, and tonight, as you look upon my shirt, where I wear the local, where the local of the Ten Rings organization, featuring the Mandarin as their leader, that is precisely what tonight's topic is all about. Now, while I am while I'm busy right now, while I understand some of you may not make it to my stream right now, I am here to discuss, I'm here to talk about my favorite Marvel comic book supervillain, the Mandarin, Iron Man's arch nemesis, and one of Stan Lee's best creations of comic book supervillains. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of Iron Man, it's precisely where the Marvel Cinematic Universe started with 18 years ago today. 18 years ago, Iron Man 1 came to theaters, and man, after watching Transformers in 2007, I was thankfully up to seeing this movie. Iron Man was sure remarkable. Robert Downey Jr. nailed it too. Of course, we didn't get to see the Mandarin though, but we did get to see a taste of what was to come in future installments. Now, as you all aware, we all know that meant that the Mandarin, along with most of most of Iron Man's enemies, were created by Stan Lee during the early '60s, during the while the Cold War was ongoing at the time. Yeah, yeah, it was quite a phenomenal. Many, much of the first wave of comics, ranging from 1962 to 1960 to the late '60s, featured Iron Man taking on villains that were inspired from takes of the Cold War. And here is a Titanium Man, who you would say is a Soviet agent. And now, and here he is, the Mandarin. That's that's what he originally. That's how he originally looked. Sorry for my screen. Boy, I'm sorry, guys. The screen can't seem to let me in. Hang on. Let me see. Here's. Hang on. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Uh, oh boy. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I had to get rid of the background for now. Here is the Mandarin. This is how Stanley originally designed the character when he first created him in 1964. Yeah, quite a megalomaniac. And here you could see him confronting Iron Man. Here you could see him confront Iron Man at the exit. Yeah, hard to get a good glimpse right now. Ah, yeah. Wow. Just wow. Right around here. Yeah, using the power of his rings on Stark. Yeah, and check this out. Firing a blast from his ring. And you could see how how strong Iron Man was to fight this guy. And yep, and right here is where the Mandarin had brings Ultimo to life to fight Iron Man. I was looking to find a singular issue featuring Ultimo, but because they were hard to find in comic book stores and online, I had to get this full book that features the series of 9 different comics back then. Wow. And here, yeah, in the '60s era, yeah, Mandarin is actually was started off as a rogue communist dictator who who was who had his own palace and base set up in the northeastern parts of China, as I recall. Yeah, China. And here in this issue, he was relentless against Iron Man, and he had with the power of those rings, he had lots of resources at his disposal, including the creation of Ultimo. Man, yeah, he sure created one hell of a monster, a mechanical monster, even with the power of those rings of his, while using his knowledge as the scientist he once was. Man, and look what comes out of the cave. Wow. Yeah. Hang on, guys. So far, okay. Let's continue. Wow. And look what he does to start. Tony hits him with the blast of one of his rings. Man, that's gotta hurt. That really has got to hurt, folks. Wow. And here the Mandarin was using this gigantic, enormous robot called Ultimata in attempts to overthrow the Communist Party of China. And he sure created one hell of a monster. Uh-huh. Hang on, folks. Hang on. Sorry about that, folks. That was my phone. Hang on. Now, let's get back to where we were. Here we are. Iron Man was facing off against Ultimo when the Mandarin unleashed him. And here is the Mandarin you see right now, where he is currently watching Ultimo fight Iron Man. And Iron Man leads this creature right back up to the volcano it came from. And the Mandarin is definitely angry that he failed. Man. Hey, man, oh man. And there is Iron Man approaching a Chinese communist base. Man, Mandarin is so evil. Ha! And take a look. Iron Man's fighting the soldiers while fighting to get onto the jet, and zoom takes off. Yeah. Yep. That was a taste of what you would expect from the late '60s, from the '60s era. Heck, even the first animated show featuring these characters was based off the comics that were showed in here. Now, next, over time, the Mandarin's looks eventually began to change. From here, excuse me, folks. From here, as you can see, where he looks a lot like Lopan with that gown, his goatee, and his hair, while fighting Iron Man with those rings. Yeah, they sure changed him when it came over the time. In the well, he got the long hair and the beard in the '70s, and then around the '80s and the '90s is when he was given this look, which I know is bothersome for some, but he looks cool, especially when it comes to. And here is this dragon storyline that explains furthermore about his origin story of how he got the rings. And here we are. This is where we start. Right here, where the Mandarin is in his palace, deep in the valley of, in his palace, located in the Valley of Spirits, as you'd say. Right here, you see him in his throne room, and ongoing, you could get a look at him, where he speaks to this. Well, where he speaks to this old guy, who he refers to as his sensei, where they're discussing their plan that they had in mind. Yeah. Oh, and take a look. See the green on his hair? Yeah, it's something. Yeah. Iron Man was called into China. And here, as for Tony, he was called into China where they were requesting assistance from the Chinese government in Beijing to deal with the Mandarin. And he had Rhodey inside his armor, posing as Iron Man as well. Dealing with Crimson Dynamo too. Man, never mind the look. Excuse me for a moment. Ah, yeah. Fight with Fin Fang Foom. To think that they would wait decades before bringing him back into the comics. Man, 3 decades, as I can recall, since His first appearance in the Guardians of the Galaxy issue. Man, Rhodey couldn't even take him. And here you have the Mandarin. Mandarin watching Fin Fang Foom fight Rhodes in that armor. And man, such intense fighting. Wow. Jeez. And here they are, with Mandarin feeling quite impressed with Fin Fang Foom's skills. Next up. Yeah, right here. Hang on, guys. I'm still turning the page. And here we are, where the Mandarin is no longer wearing that hat of his, while continuing to watch Rhodey get clobbered by Fin Fang Foom. Wow. I quite enjoyed looking at this. But wow! Here there be dragons. Nice. Yeah. They even did an episode that was loosely based off this comic storyline. As I can recall. Well, see you guys later. Pardon me, folks. Some of my friends that are on the Discord are still at work. Which is a good thing I didn't bother to send any invite links, because I understand they have a different days of shifts, as do I. Now, back to where we are. Here on this page, you would see the dragons revealing themselves after spending centuries disguised as citizens around the globe, as I would say. Man, here they come flying high. Wow. Fin Fang Foom. Who knows if he ever had a human form as well. And now, and here it is, Mandarin fighting Rhodey, easily swatting him away like a fly with the power of the rings in his possession. And look at him charging him up in an attempt to finish him. Oh, take a look at this. Oh my God. Check it out, folks. Check it out. Check it out. He's using the power of his reanimation ring to bring a big ass mountain to life to fight Rhodey. Wow. Now that is awesome. Man. A walking mountain fighting Rhodey. Hear that in a comic that was released the year I was born. Man. All right. Anyway, continuing where I left off. Man, man, God, and he tries to bury him on top of a mountain with this big that he brought to life with the power of his reanimation ring. And then he climbs out. Fin Fang Foom and the Mandarin united. Ah, never mind that. Excuse me for a moment. Ah, and here we are. Mandarin firing his great power of his rings right at Rhodes, mistaking him for the very same Iron Man he was up against. Man, look at that, folks. Quite awesome. Eh, well. Yeah, I kind of like, I've quite gotten used to live streams. And look at him. Look at the Mandarin gloating with such arrogance, thinking that he has won. And then he wonders what the hell is coming. And look! Dragon Lord featuring dragons. Yep. Mandarin is shocked to see that there were more dragons coming his way. And what could they be after? And now Mandarin puts his hat back on, his pointy hat back on. Eh, man. Well, anyway, continuing, folks. Ah, man, look, look at all those dragons coming out flying from the sky. Oh man, they're giving him a headache with all that roaring. And look at what, man. Ah, and here we are, where we come to more of his origin story right here, where he tells Rhodey more of his origin story back when he was just a peasant, back in the 50s, of course, if I do say so myself. Here is where he discovered the ship that he got his 10 power rings from. And right here are the 10 rings that he sought and donned to become the Mandarin. Look here. Wow. Just wow. Now, here we have them shape-shifting. Right here. As you see here, Mandarin makes his dramatic encounter with the 10 Macalonian dragons who shapeshift into their human forms, wearing the same colored gowns. So, and here is their leader. Tony makes out with with the woman while the Dragon Lord is calling for Mandarin to give the rings back to him and his pack. And here, Mandarin refuses to surrender the rings to him, and the dragons are looking to magnetically pull them away from him, as you can see here. Yeah, trying to get the rings right out of his hand. Yes, he's scary, and it's causing him pain. But look down here, where he starts off flat, but then starts tightening his grip, and then starts putting the power of the rings into motion, and boom! Explosion! Wow! Look at that! Erupting with such rage. And now the Mandarin confronts his master and prepares to engage, and starts engaging him with the power of his rings, firing his disintegrator, if I might say, or something. And now comes the real Iron Man. And here we have the page. Kind of a little bit of mismarketing. The stunning finale of the Dragon Seed saga. I don't know why they came up with this cover for the finale, but a little misleading if I do say so. Still, I kind of like it. And look at this. A war where the real Iron Man takes on the dragons. Woo! Wow. Man, he's putting up quite a fight. Say it don't matter. And now the leader of the dragons comes in. Wow. And here we go. Mandarin. Sitting down looking at Iron Man. Looking frozen and betrayed. Yeah, Keanu Reeves would definitely pull it off as the real thing if we can get the whole Iron Man movie franchise rebooted in the future. And there he goes. And just when he touches the Mandarin right here, don't touch me. Yeah, doesn't want to be touched. And now, getting back up, he looks out at the man. See all the power rings he possesses? Man, imagine if those really existed in real life. Wouldn't be as powerful as the Infinity Stones, but hey, they still pack quite a punch. And enough to help build your own empire, if I do say so myself. And now he uses them to help the real Iron Man fight the Macalonian dragons. Time has come for action. And now, two arch enemies fighting side by side against the 10 dragons. And now is the part where they start combining their powers. Wow. Right here, you have them bunched up together. And then with Iron Man putting his gauntlet behind the Mandarin's hands to overload them, boom! Explosion! Man, and take a look. Such a powerful explosion that you would see that it's drawn attention from other superheroes as well. Wow. Man, that's some damage. That's a lot of damage. Well, at least we're able to tell who's Iron Man and who's Rhodey. Man, God. Now that is precisely why I feel that this storyline of the Iron Man comic should serve as the finale of a rebooted Iron Man movie franchise. But also, all of them, much like Keanu Reeves' John Wick movies, they need to have independent creative freedom. At least until we finally come to the end. Wow. And now, Tony is back in his suit as Iron Man, and Rhodey is just back to being Rhodey. God, was that one hell of a fight. And here he is, Mandarin, hospitalized after getting his hands blown off by Iron Man. Woo! Wow, that has got to hurt. Man, what an issue, guys. Yeah. Shame we're not going to get this storyline brought to life in the Marvel Cinematic Universe after what we got out of Iron Man 3 and Avengers Endgame. But there's one more comic I'd like to zoom over to before I start to bring in my thoughts regarding how my journey to becoming a loyal member and supporter of Hold My DualShock Reviews by Handy Katie started, and Peter, as well as getting involved with helping them fight for the restoration of the Snyderverse as well. First, let's go to this comic right here, which dwells deeper into the origin of the Mandarin and how his 10 magic and how the power of all 10 of his rings came to be. All right. Let me zoom through this here. All right. Here we are. See the Mandarin? Yeah, that's pure Keanu Reeves right there, folks. Yeah, where he looks more like a civilized person, fitting in with the modern world today than he did as a megalomaniac dictator in a gown, acting like he's some kind of emperor. Yeah. They never needed to do that stupid bait and switch at all, or even wait. Now, here we are, the two enemies at B large sitting down, and now let's move on to more where we dwell deeper into the origin of his rings. Yeah, this was 2012 or 2011, as I recall. Here it starts off with him inside the cave, and then going down deep into the here where he. Yeah, hang on, guys, hang on. Man, see, and here he is. Wow, sorry, folks. Where he comes up into the ship, where he, right there, discovers the power of the 10 magic rings. Lined up in a different formation compared to the previous comic. Man, and there he has them in possession. Next. Wow. And look at that. He used them to wreak havoc upon the government. Check it out. Looking to be a pro master villain with those rings in his possession right there. Wow, and check that out. And here we go even more further, where he dwells deeper into the where we dwell deeper into the mythology of the character and his rings, where he says that the source of the power within the rings are vessels. In fact, he even says that they're not actually rings at all, but are actual vessels of powerful alien entities. Yeah, man, that's something. Yeah, yeah, man, that is something, guys. Wow. Now, feel free to leave a comment in the chat box on your right hand side in case you got something to say. If not, we'll just keep going. Man, wow. Good thing I had this one with me as well. I mean, the power of 10 magic rings in the possession of an arch adversary to one of the most popular Avengers. Man, incredible. Gosh, if only we had more decent, more patient leadership at the studios, we would have gotten a taste of actual comic book accurate authenticity, and not that subversive swindling we got from the third Iron Man films, folks. And I tell you, it was quite a shocker. It was quite a shocker of what I gone through. Well, I'll have to break it down to you. 12 years ago, after watching the first Avengers movie, I felt like I was on the top of the world of having enjoyed such peak entertainment from Marvel Cinematic Films. Now, I don't even know this, but to me, I think the Avengers 2012 film may have been the first Marvel Cinematic film to have grossed over $1 billion. Man, and I was so thrilled with all the action going on, including the final battle, that despite the acquisition by Disney, that not only Paramount still had his logo on it, but man, the fights were awesome there nonetheless. Wow. Still had some good quality back then too. Man, I was so hyped that when I was keeping track of the news of what's been going on in Iron Man 3, I was stoked. I've been so stoked following the casting that when they had cast Sir Benjamin Kingsley from the UK as the Mandarin, I was so hyped. I was definitely bought into the hype, and that this film would feature multiple villains. Man, I was so bought. Then we go over to the then come September and October of 2012 when I came upon this kind of thing. Ah. Hi, Nighthawk. Welcome back, my friend, to the chat. And I'm glad you're here too. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Now, back where I was. Yeah. When I was using Facebook, I came across this trinket of some sort of an algorithm where you would have to share this with up to at least 25 to 50 different Facebook users on Facebook to unlock this first teaser to the third Iron Man movie. I was so on board. So I decided to actually share this thing with other folks on Facebook, to hit the like button and then share it with everyone else. And man, did we get a good look at the first trailer. Now, teaser, when I was so bought and invested into it at first hand, guys. Hang on, I'm going to show it to you. I can't exactly play the. Hang on. Let me just take it. Hang on. Hang on, folks. Hang on. Let me just bring it up. Let me just mute this tab here so I don't I got to be careful. Yep. Hang on. Let me find the perfect image. Ugh. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on, guys. Stay right there. I'm trying to find the perfect one. Just give me a moment here. Hang on. Steady now. Still steady. Hang on. Gotta wait for it. Steady now. Uh, uh, Wait. Hang on, guys. Oh, I don't think this is it. I'm still trying to look for it, folks. Bear with me. Ah, I think this is it. Oh, hang on. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Wait, let me make sure. Oh, hang on, guys. Oh, here we are. Here we are, folks. Hang on. I found it. Let me get it up to you now. I can't exactly risk copyright, but I can show you a view of what you would see in that first teaser. Hang on. Steady now. All right. Here we go. Here it is, guys. This was the official Iron Man teaser that I led the charge to getting unlocked and released for the public to see back in 2012. Back when I was bought heavily into when I was bought completely into the hype of the first Avengers movie. I was stoked for more exciting Marvel entertainment to be brought to life on the big screen. Man, oh man, it was such a time. Ah, oh, hey, thank you, Nighthawk. That's a nice, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, man, man. As you see, Nighthawk, and whoever else is watching, this right here was the tease. This you're looking at was the very teaser trailer that I let the charge on Facebook to getting unlocked for the world to get a look at 12 years ago. Back right before I right before we all ended up being screwed by the studio when the leaks came out about the movie of what was really going on in it. Yeah. But right here is where you get a first glimpse at Ben Kingsley's portrayal of Trevor Slattery, who we all thought for sure was the real Mandarin, was the Mandarin of the MCU. Before we realized that was all just bait and switched. Now I'd like to show more, but I need to watch myself, folks. All right. 12 years? Hell yeah. Yeah, it's true, Nighthawk. It has been 12 years. And yeah, when you mentioned this, yeah, man, when I first saw the Avengers trailer, I didn't know what to think by the time for him to be a fan. Yep, I agree with you there, Nighthawk. And thanks again for coming to visit. In fact, I'd like you to come and join me and my friends from Hold My Dual Shock on the Discord too, since you've been quite. Be sure to come join us on the Discord. Hang on, let me get you there. Hang on, Nighthawk. If you're still with me, let me get you there. Now, I'm not sure if this would work, but oh, sure. Yeah, feel free. Yeah, yeah. Well, here. Let me see if I can get it to you or not. Here's the link. Here's the link, Nighthawk. This is where you be sure to be sure to copy and paste the link up on your address bar. Head to it, and there you'll get to start hanging out with our friends. But try not to invite too much, though. I'd like to keep the group small for a while, at least. Yeah. Thank you again, buddy. Yeah. Be sure to check it out too, and make sure you subscribe to Hold My DualShock, and be sure to come and hang out with us for tonight's review of the Acolyte while it's still on. It starts around. Hang on. Let me just get it back so I find the thing. I need to head to the subscription. Yeah. Hang on, Nightfuck. Let me find it for you. Here it is. Here it is, Nighthawk. It starts at 10 o'clock. Hold My DualShock. My buddies, Katie, Andy, and Peter, have their stream set for 10. And be sure to come and join and participate if you've got any thoughts on the Acolyte series. Until then, be sure to have fun. You're trying to help write a comic. I can see that. Well, this kind of brings me back to when I was struggling to write a novel focused on banshees. Well, all I had to do was look at some of the wording in one of the movie novelizations to A Beauty and the Beast to help me understand what words to look up now, and what words to include, or how to say it. Well, you may want to scroll back. You may want to also look back at it. Well, it takes time to gain some knowledge. Depends on what field you're in when it comes to doing comics. But hey, if I had the time and guts, I'd be free to help you, pal. Trust me. Now, be sure you come. Now, be sure to come check out the link. Yeah, yeah. It's great to have you on board, my friend. Now, let's get back to where I was. Yeah, yeah. Now, while the while the news kept going on, and while the press continued, and while the coverage continued, and while fans were stoked to see more Marvel content post Avengers 2012, man, we were so heavily bought into this man. Of course, when the leaks came out that they were going in the same direction as Batman Begins, that was made by Christopher Nolan. Oh, yeah, my pleasure, Nighthawk. Thank you. Yeah, and I started too. Yeah, now back to where we are. Now back to where we were. All right. Now, let's get back to where I left off, folks. Hang on. Let me just get this thing. Let me just get the screen up. All right, here we are. Let's go to here. Little did we know that that Marvel and everyone at Marvel was more interested in going a different direction, as well as playing copycat on other studios rather than sticking to doing the characters exactly as shown from the comics. That rather than giving us an actual comic accurate Mandarin, this is what we got instead. Yeah, believe me, this goddamn piece of shit excuse for a Ra's al Ghul esque kind of a Mandarin. An extremist enhanced Aldrich killing and using bait and switch, the same kind of bait and switch theatrics that the third Iron Man movie had, and that really got me so freaking irritated. I felt so goddamn betrayed by the studios. My God, man, was I a complete idiot out of myself, not realizing that they were really looking to that these executives and the shareholders were this twisted and evil to care less about what I and all other Marvel fans wanted. That instead they chose China and as well as their pride and ego over the source material, and it pissed me off that they thought they could get away with violating the what what Stan Lee had created back in the old days. That rather than giving us the actual Mandarin from the comics that wield the power and Ten Rings, they gave us a syndrome of an excuse. My God. Hang on. Hang on, folks. Yeah, hang on. Hang on, guys. Wow. Man, oh man. I hope I can share this with them. I gotta look up Reddit first. Man, I mean, take a look at this. Look at this. God. Think they could try to make a Mandarin out of Guy Pearce's Ulrich killing just by adding freaking dragon tattoos on his chest, as well as using extremists? Go to fucking hell. My God, you ruined it. Ike Perlmutter freaking ruined it. He ripped us off. And man, I got so angry. So goddamn angry, I ended up losing my temper one time at work. When no one was around, I ended up banging my fist against the wall. God, God, did I. God, man, I was so stupid, not letting my emotions get the better of me. It's been the very first time that the elites, the powers that be that continue to plague our lives today, got on my nerves. My God. Wow. Just wow. Yeah. Looks like he belongs on a Mortal Kombat game. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, tell me about it, my friend. God. Man, I was such a fool, Nighthawk. And folks, whoever it is that's watching it, I was so bought into the hype of the Avengers movie. I was such a dumbass, not realizing that they were literally going to turn their backs on the comics and start giving us garbage by by trying to copy Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins movie instead of just sticking to the source material. And it's all because they were more interested. They all they cared about was their business dealings with China, as well as their own goddamn pride and motherfucking ego. My God. Man, it's been bothered me for months after watching that movie 3 times in theaters. 11 years ago. 3 times. God. And I was about to start doing rant articles on comic book movie to criticize Jon Favreau for abandoning us with these stooges at the studio, as well as using scenes of from the third Iron Man movie to criticize these clowns. Yeah, I know how you feel, buddy. It caught us all off guard. And don't get me wrong, much of this was hap- much of this mostly much of what's been going on at the studios like this originally started over at Warner Brothers in between the behind the scenes events of Iron Man films 2 and sorry, behind the scenes scenarios during the releases of Superman 2 and Superman 3, right when Richard Donner was fired by the studios for not trimming out 30 minutes of footage, 30 minutes of screen time from the movie just to sell tickets. And then either in 1980, later in 1981 or 1982 is where all our issues with Hollywood started coming out of Warner Brothers, where the executives refused to go with a movie script that has Brainiac as the main villain in it, and instead chose to rip us off with the garbage we got out of Superman 3 by not giving us a villain from the comics, but instead giving us another Lex Luthor of a villain, as in an actual tycoon of some sort, all because they were obsessed with Gene Hackman for his performance in the first movie. They wanted to copycat him. God, I hate these elites. And now, 30 years later, look what happened right after Jon Favreau's fussy disputes with Terrence Howard when he chose to replace him with Don Cheadle as Rhodey, and then getting fired by a studio when he did not feel like when he started to not give much a damn about how awesome the Mandarin is with the power of his 10 rings. I mean, take a look, guys. I mean, hang on. Guys, hang on. Bear with me, fellas. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Take a look. Look at this. See all the power of the rings that he has firing out at the dragons here? I mean, look at them. 10 mystic rings with different elements. And then instead of doing that, the rings, they chose to rip us off, for God's sakes. And God, I thought I was on from it after Shang-Chi did the fans a favor by giving us a more comic accurate leaning version of the character. Not 100% comic accurate, but comic accurate leaning when they had Tony Leung portray the actual MCU version of the character in the movie. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I'm going to have to show you guys. Bear with me. I got to show you something. Coming up right here. Hang on. Hang on. Here we are. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to show you guys right here, right now. Hang on, folks. Hang on. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to find it. Ha! Here we are. Ah, here we go. Bear with me now, fellas. Thank you. Yeah, I ranted there, didn't I? Yeah, I know. It was unfair for the studios to rip us off back then, my friend. Now, let me show you who we got as the Mandarin we needed, but not the one we actually deserved overall. Hang on. Bear with me. Hang on, folks. Here it is. There we are, guys. Tony Leung, appearing in Shang-Chi Legend of the Ten Rings as Wenwu, a.k.a. Mandarin, the real Mandarin of the MCU, the one that should have fought against Iron Man before they decided to rip us off with that goddamn Nolanized bait and switch. My God. Sure, his rings are not 100% comic accurate, but they're still passable to me, in my opinion, because all that mattered was that they made sure that they kept most of the important elements of the character close to the source material. Yes, close to the source material right here was fair enough for me. Man, and when I saw that trailer with him, heck, may not have been exactly comic accurate, but hey, at least I checked in. Man, oh man. Man. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. We should not be that 100% surprised, because just before they decided to go with that bait and switch in Iron Man 3. Hang on. Now, first, let me just show you hang on, guys. Hang on. Let me show you guys something here before we move on. Hang on here. Yeah. Let me look. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Yeah. Right there. What you're looking at, Nighthawk, is a scene with the Mandarin, played by Tony Leung, in a flashback scene with his son Shang-Chi back when he was 10 years old, as I can recall. Either 10 or 7, I can't tell. I'd have to watch the movie again. Yeah, of course. Wow. Yes. Uh-huh. Yep, that's right. That's right, my friend. Yeah. And the reason I bring this up, Nighthawk, is because right before they wanted to go with that goddamn motherfucking bait and switch that got on my nerves and left me emotionally scarred for years, since April 2013's leak of the plot after its release, that left so many fans booing. Heck, and there was definitely common sense when we had people coming out there. Yeah. They were original. They were all there. There was supposed to be a post-credit scene featuring the Mandarin and a young Shang-Chi, just before China leaned in on this and got so fucking recklessly sensitive about it, not wanting to have the MCU's first Chinese character being a supervillain, all because they have been, not just because they see it as propaganda, but all because of all the hardship that Mao and the nationalist aristocratic regime before his communist regime put Xi Jinping and his people through back in the 60s during the Cultural Revolution. I mean, they were going to plan a post-credit scene cameo with the Mandarin and his son Shang-Chi. This was actually being planned sometime before they started shooting the Avengers movie that came out in 2012. Man, wow. Just wow. Man, I can't believe this. Now, I don't want to spend too long anymore. I don't want to take too long, because I got to be ready for the Acolytes soon and rally with my friends Katie, Peter, and Andy on their YouTube channel to discuss tonight's episode. Man. Gosh. Man. Man, oh man. Wow. And I tell you one thing. Nighthawk. Back then, oh, and get a load of this. Hang on, let me bring this up for you guys. Now, let me check here. Let's see. Hang on. Here we are. What you're looking at, Nighthawk, are the two Mandarins of the MCU. One that was an actor who was being used as a scapegoat for Aldrich Killian and the Advanced Idea Mechanics in Iron Man 3. And here on your left is the real Mandarin of the Ten Rings, Wenwu, played by communist actor Tony Leung from Hong Kong. Man. And I gotta say, he sure put up quite a dramatic performance. And while I admit that Kevin Feige is a selfish piece of shit who's been ruining Marvel content, this, however, is the one thing I can give him credit for. Course correcting, making sure that we got the actual thing, not 100% comic accurate, but comic accurate leaning version of the character as the real MCU Mandarin overall. Now, Wenwu may not, for how his character was done, wasn't what we 100% deserved, but was definitely the Mandarin we 100%, 100 frickin' percent needed. And man, when I saw that movie, I felt like I was finally healing from all the wounds that I was scarred with from the bait and switch. And as for Kingsley, he may not have been the Mandarin we needed, but he was the one we deserved. But Aldrich Killian, fuck no. I tell you. And I'm glad they course corrected, because if they killed off Kingsley's character, they would never have been able to course correct, fellas. And I mean it. My God. But I still want an Iron Man rebooted film series with at least 4 films based off 4 different popular storylines. At least 4, because I wouldn't want. Man, oh man. Wow. Man, I'm on a roll here, fellas. Wow. And I had to give credit to Nighthawk, too. Let's see here. Are you able to come up on screen, Nighthawk? Because I could send you a link. I gotta know, Nighthawk, have you ever been on panel before? Because if not, I could send you a link to join me real fast for something. Hang on, buddy. Let me get set up here. Hang on. Hang on, folks. Oh, sorry, Nighthawk. Oh, thank you. Sorry, Nighthawk. Thank you, though. Well, I'd like to continue this for longer than that, but I have to be ready for Eckler. Thank you, though. And thank you for coming to keep me company. Yeah. Man, who better than you to serve as one of my closest friends on stream panel? Man, I tell you. Man, Tony Leung definitely did a good job as Wenwu, aka Mandarin. Still, other than not being able to get the actual comic accurate version of the character that we all know and cherish so much from the comics. What really disappointed me the most was that Marvel didn't even bother to have Iron Man 4 planned to help us fully resolve this issue. All right, next time then. If I have another live streams at some point, but I'm also hoping to have my friends at home, my DualShock, join me in as well. But I wouldn't mind having you as the first to share a panel with. So it's, thank you. Yeah. Man, folks, I really tell you, if only we had gotten a fourth Iron Man movie, they could have at least resolved what they've done. But instead, sadly, they just killed off Iron Man in Endgame, and later, that in 2019, announced Shang-Chi: Legend of the Ten Rings, where they finally bring in the actual Mandarin. It kind of saddens me too. Heck, it really does. Yeah, it would also take time for me to do this as well. Of course, I'd have to find you and find a way to get in touch with you, pal. If I knew how to panel, if I knew how to share a panel with you. Plus, I still got some kinks still to check out. Man, guys, I really tell you, I was so man, I was so man, I was on top of the man. It's been quite a journey, and just when I was finally moving on from that setback, Zen Zaslav came along and started getting on everyone's nerves when he had appointed James Gunn and Peter Safran in charge of the DC EIP at Warner Brothers to help him rob us of so many important projects, and as well as acting like early 1980s repeat offenders, as well as late 2000 repeat offenders, where they keep acting like gatekeepers on getting a live action Superman movie script with Brainiac and other characters in it past the censorship and find and contribute it into a live action film to do, as well as having gotten on a lot of people's nerves. Yeah, it really and learning and going forward, learning more just how messed up and broken our world and society is, with the elites having too much control over and power and control over everything, as well as having our government institutions like the CIA as their core enablers at every front, not with and with all the propaganda that's been spreading. My God, how the hell did we get here? Man, God, God, oh God, I hope my friends at home, my DualShock, can let me share this video with them on their Discord account. Man, oh man. God, I really regret having to bother leading the charge on getting that on getting that first teaser trailer out. But in case any of you now, before I conclude, I need to show you guys one more thing regarding the Mandarin. There was an anime series of the featured the Mandarin. Now, and I had just put up a blog showing you guys how the 10 rings of power on his in his that he wields are properly executed. And here we go. Man, oh man. Let me just get it. Hang on, hang on. Let me get you there. This is a blog I put up almost 10 years ago from today. Almost 10 years. Yeah. Friday, November 28th, 2014 is when I posted this blog. Now, I'm going to show you guys how the 10 power rings of the Mandarin work. Let's see. Now, as you look here, This is how the Mandarin was depicted in the Avengers anime series called Marvel Discourse. While following core elements from the source material, much of his Canadian animated Iron Man ser- series was incorporated into the anime. It's quite clear that they too don't like the goatee and the long hair and the wardrobe either. So, in fact, I kind of like this thing, this cool look. Now and here he is rising up from his throne, and here we get a good glimpse at his helmet, and there he is inside a warehouse in Kyoto, in Japan. And look at that, donning all the power of 10 rings in his hand, and all 10 fingers in his hands, and embraces and wields them with such effort. And here, now let's start now to start showing you guys how the rings. Man, now let's start showing. Time to show you how the rings work. Now, one of the ring, as you can see from this clip I give here, the way he pounds his fists into the ground while activating the power of that ring he that was glowing in his hands was used to create a swirling tornado or a swirling vortex of wind, if I might say. And man, look at all the damage it's been doing. Wow. And next up comes the flamethrower. Man, that was cool. And here in this possession, impact. That is called the impact ring. It's heavy firepower. And wow. Look at how it breaks through the flaming vortex that he created with his other two. And that's right there, you're looking at is Nova. Man. Yeah. And what is he looking at? And here you got the Avengers: Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, and Wasp. Yeah. I have a feeling that this lineup is pretty much inspired by the Autobots from Transformers Animated from the 2007-2008 cartoon that aired in 2007-2008, which also concluded in 2009 before Transformers 2: Revenge of the Fallen aired in theaters. Now, I kind of love how the Japanese did the Mandarin here. And while Iron Man, and now get ready. You're about to witness more of why the studio should not have turned their backs on the comics. Get a load of this ice beam ring. See that? Freezing man, look at that. Freezing them all just like encased in ice. And wow. Take a look. Man. And there he is, Iron Man, dodging the impact beam. And watch. Oh, hang on. Yeah. See how he dodges it? And look at that. Impact beam. Oh, a disintegration ring. And there he goes, taking off. Man, what you guys got there was a slideshow I've made on Blogger showing you how the Mandarin would properly use each of the 10 rings in his possession. The power of the 10 rings in his possession. And if Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios and Disney are still planning ahead with it, with more after Secret Wars and that god-awful, unwanted crossover between Marvel and DC, they should really just pull the plug on whatever else they haven't officially announced and just wrap it up. Give us the Scarlet Witch movie. Give us the Miles Morales Spider-Man movie. Give us that woke X-Men, all whatever fuckery of a female-led movie you got in mind. Give us the third and final Doctor Strange movie, and then be done with the whole thing. Just stop. And I gotta give Parker some credit for his rants on YouTube. Stop with the shared universe for Marvel for once. I mean, if you can't seem to do every character properly by the source material without dealing with a freaking flop, God. Yeah. While I disagree with DC has been going through bigger problems than any other studio. But yeah, because of what the studio chose to do behind our backs, that instead of giving us the comic accurate Mandarin we all deserved, we all ended up with all the garbage we got out of Iron Man 3, parallel to all the garbage we got out of Superman 3. And my God, poor Christopher Reeves. Just like everything that Warner Brothers did to destroy the Superman Christopher Reeves movie series with their decision to reject comic originated villains like Brainiac and give us garbage. It caused them to constantly ruin the whole thing, and which is what caused the Supergirl 1984 movie and that disastrous Superman 4 movie to flop like flowers, like wilting flowers, being left out in the sun too long to dry and wilt into nothing. God. Man, oh man. I tell you, folks, what we have gotten. Man, oh man. I hope Katie and Peter will kindly accept my this YouTube video on their stream. Huh. Thank you, Peter. Glad you decided to accept my invitation. Thank you, guys. And I'm glad you and Katie. I'm glad I came across you and Katie last year when you were doing your reaction to the Kraven the Hunter trailer. Yeah, and you two, and along as well as myself, have pretty much in common too. Yeah, man. And I do thank you, Nighthawk, for keeping me company in the chat box tonight. Because yeah, I definitely needed company too. Of course, yeah. Not sure if StreamYard links would work, but I'd have to ask Katie and Peter first. Also, I hope they'll grant me permission to post this video on the Discord, and I hope it doesn't get flagged for copyright because I did not play any actual footage or any sound. I was just trying to focus on one scene that I know that I can remember that helps me know which trailer was which when I was first leading the charge to get it out to the public. Yeah, we do need an actual solid reboot of Iron Man films. And just like the Superman, Supergirl IP, as well as Legion of Superhero IPs, with every character, every villain, every supporting character, with every storyline, along with the Iron Man IP, should not be in the hands of these trickster swindlers of studio executives and shareholder hacks. It's got to be, they need to be sold to studios that have more independence, but it's also why we need to get rid of BlackRock and Vanguard first. Regardless of how people view the situation of them having so much in assets and control, there are always ways we can cripple them of their things, even if Well, I'm sure we'll find a way. Because we all know the deep state has been. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. Man, I've been ranting. Man, I've been ranting so long. It's kind of making me a little tired here. Anyway, thank you for coming, Nighthawk. Be sure to share this video with everyone else on YouTube that you know. And no, yeah, 2021 was quite a year. Even though we've been coming out of the pandemic, boy, man, did we all get so invested into seeing this thing. Man, what a show. Man, oh man. I tell you, folks, with with everything that's been going down in Hollywood since 2008, or since ESG has been unveiled back in 2004, wow. Man, I've never felt so fired up and stoked. Boy, oh boy. Man. Whew, wow, I got so tired. Man, oh gosh, man. Anyway, thanks again for coming, Nighthawk. Be sure to check out more of my live stream videos on my channel and some of the regular videos I've uploaded today and before since 2012. Back when I was Avengers Rising, before I started to lose control of myself last week Monday, when I started to feel like I was deserted, without even realize that there was so much that Katie and Peter needed to unload for last week's catch up Monday, as well as me myself, not having to realize that I sort of overdid it with the invites to their channel and streams. Man, I kind of felt like I was all alone, isolating myself. I'm glad they're kind and forgiving, but still, wow, I got so out of control, man. Oh boy, wow, man, it's been such a rant. I need to look it up the word before I know which category to put it in on their Discord. Impact. Hang on, I'm just looking up. Yeah, rant it is. Yep, emotional. Hang on a moment, guys. Oh man, I'm getting tired. I gotta be ready in 40 minutes. I have to be ready to tune in for the finale. Anyway, folks, thanks again for coming to my channel for tonight. In case you haven't been able to watch the whole thing, be sure to come back to watch it again once it's live. And I hope, and God help me that it does not get flagged for anything, because I had to mute the trailer and not play the clip properly. make. I only needed to show you the one scene that helps me to remember that it was the exact trailer that I pushed on Facebook to get unlocked and released into the public eye. And God, I hope we do, because not only do we deserve and need to get a leash on the establishment on having a live action Superman versus Brainiac movie made with him, Superman, Supergirl, Silver Banshee, and other characters done and interpreted comic accurately and not put up with any more goddamn meddling or for the leaders to lose control of their pride and ego doing things to get out of delivering what they are holding back from us. But also, we definitely need to reboot Iron Man and make sure we get the Mandarin done right. They don't need to dress him up like this. No, they just gotta start looking into the source material and previous television shows to help themselves out. Not go making it difficult over any business conflicts of interest. So take care, guys. May the fandom of entertainment be with you and be with us all, always.